Welcome to Relationship Reset with life coach Dr. Mark Shook. In each podcast, Mark will weave together the ancient truths of Scripture with the latest cutting-edge neuroscience in short, concise, effective, and doable principles and actions to reset your relationship dynamic.
Hello, welcome to Relationship Reset. I'm your host, Mark Shook, and we are looking at internal family systems. We've talked about how we can fragment into different parts. And in internal family systems therapy, parts that are stuck in time are gently guided toward a process called unburdening. And basically, this involves a few things. Witnessing. So the imago Dei, the self, the image of God's self, your calm, compassionate core, witnesses the story and pain of the part. And this means allowing that part to share its perspective, expressing why it acts the way it does. And then, secondly, we show compassion. The self extends compassion to that part, acknowledging its protective role and the pain that it carries. And then the third thing is reassurance. The part is reassured that the past is over and the current environment is safer, and the part learns that it's no longer has to carry its burdens alone or act in extreme ways. And so it can develop, lastly, a new role. Once the part has released its burden, it can adopt a healthier, more supportive role within your internal system. For example, a critic might evolve into a supportive part that helps you reflect and improve without that harsh judgment. This process allows the individual to live with greater emotional freedom and less internal conflict as parts become unstuck and can adapt to the present reality. So parts can become stuck in time based on past experiences, particularly from childhood or childhood trauma. Understanding these parts, recognizing how they are trying to protect you and working with them compassionately can help free them from their old roles and bring healing and balance to your internal system. What I want to do for the next few sessions is just go through detailed examples of different types of parts from the internal family systems model, focusing on their roles, behaviors, and how they can become stuck in time. I think you'll recognize yourself in some of these, and that's the point. I want you to see these. So let's talk about manager parts first. First one, the perfectionist. A manager part that strives for perfection, pushing you to always do better, work harder, avoid mistakes. This part often develops in response to situations where mistakes were punished or where high standards were constantly expected, especially in childhood or early academic settings. And this is how it's stuck. This perfectionist part might have developed because as a child, you learned that being perfect was the only way to avoid criticism or to gain approval from authority figures. Now, even as an adult, it continues to believe that you must be flawless to avoid failure, even when you're in a supportive environment where perfection is not required or necessary. It may be stuck in a time when you were more vulnerable to the external judgment. So the present-day behavior that you would see from this perfectionist part might show up by making you obsess over minor details, leading to procrastination or burnout because you feel the need to get everything just right. It may also manifest a constant self-criticism. Another part you might see is the people pleaser. This manager part is driven by the need to make others happy, avoiding conflict at all cost. It often emerges from situations where keeping others happy was necessary to maintain peace or avoid abandonment, such as growing up in a home where there was emotional instability or neglect. Here's how it's stuck. This part might be stuck in a time when your sense of security depended on pleasing caregivers or peers. Even in adulthood, it may still believe that your worth is tied to how well you satisfy others' needs, even if that means neglecting your own. So what present-day behavior might you see? Might cause you to constantly say yes to others, even when it's not your best interest. You might struggle to set boundaries or fear that others will reject you if you don't meet their expectations. Here's another, the controller. Maybe this is you. The manager part takes on the role of maintaining tight control over every aspect of life, often to prevent chaos, uncertainty, vulnerability. It tends to micromanage not only your actions, but sometimes those of others as well, creating a sense of order and predictability. Here's how it's stuck. This part may have been formed during childhood in response to an environment that felt out of control, such as growing up with unpredictable parents or in a chaotic household. It learned that controlling everything is the only way to stay safe and prevent emotional harm. The present day behavior, you would see, this part might cause you to become overly controlling in relationships, in work, personal projects. It can lead to anxiety when things don't go according to the plan, your plan, and when others don't follow your expectations. You may struggle to delegate tasks or let go of responsibilities, fearing that without control, things will fall apart. Another manager part you might see, the achiever. This manager part is focused on external success, often pushing you to accomplish more and achieve higher standards, driven by the belief that your worth is tied to your achievements. And here's how it's stuck. This part may have developed in response to growing up in an environment where love or approval was conditional, performance-based, such as excelling in school or sports. It holds on to the belief that if you're not constantly achieving, you're just not valuable. The achiever might drive you to overwork, present-day behavior, set unrealistically high goals, or feel an intense fear of failure. It may cause stress or burnout because it doesn't allow room for rest or satisfaction with the progress that you make. Even after significant accomplishments, this part may push you to keep striving for more, never feeling good enough. Another manager part, the caretaker. This manager part is focused on taking care of others, often at the expense of your own needs. It believes that by taking care of everyone else, you'll be safe, loved, and appreciated. This part may develop if as a child you felt responsible for taking care of family members or emotionally supporting caregivers. This part is stuck in time. It's stuck in that time when you felt that your worth was tied to how well you could help others or manage other people's emotions. And it believes that the only way to maintain relationships and avoid conflict is to constantly care for others, even when it's exhausting or harmful to your own well-being. The present-day behavior of this part may cause you to say yes to too many responsibilities or feel guilty when you try to prioritize your own needs. It can lead to burnout, resentment, difficulty asserting yourself because it believes others' needs are always more important than your own. Another manager part, maybe this is you, the critic. This manager part constantly criticizes you to push for improvement or avoid mistakes. Its goal is to keep you safe from failure or rejection by pointing out your flaws before anyone else can. It may have formed in response to growing up in an environment where criticism was a common way of motivating or controlling behavior. This part is stuck in a time when external criticism or failure was particularly painful. It learned that by being critical, it could protect you from the shame or embarrassment of being criticized by others. It operates from the belief that harsh self-judgment is a necessary form of self-protection. Its present-day behavior, it might show up as a constant self-criticism, telling you constantly that you're not good enough, smart enough, capable enough. It can lead to feelings of inadequacy. It can prevent you from taking risks or trying new things because it fears you'll fail. Next time, we're going to look at some firefighter parts and some exile parts, and we'll close out our internal family systems with that. So I look forward to seeing you in the next podcast.